University of Sioux Falls students brought food to the hungry by making rice packets to send to an orphanage in Haiti. Campus parking becomes more restrictive, and the Special Olympics come to Mitchell. All this and more coming up next on College Week.
Live from the Jeske Fine Arts Center on the campus of the University of Sioux Falls, this is College Week. With Aaron Heinert, Stephanie Chmielewski, and sports with Michelle Jacobs.
Good morning, I'm Aaron Heinert.
And I'm Stephanie Chmielewski. Thanks for joining us.
USF students should be aware of new parking restrictions around campus. Effective immediately, there will be no parking allowed along the south side of 22nd Street from Menlo to Waltz Avenue. Even though the new restrictions limits parking further, it will only be enforced on Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Anyone parked in this area during the designated time will receive tickets from the Sioux Falls Police Department.
Over 50 USF students met at the Avera Living Little Center last week. The group lent a hand to a local organization trying to feed needy children. College Week's Aaron Heinert reports.
The students joined forces with Kids Against Hunger to supply meals for children in Haiti. The kids receiving the meals either go to one of the 4 elementary schools or orphanage that is operated by Pam Plaisir. Plaisir says that nothing is needed more than food.
Because if you can't keep them alive, everything else is pointless. And so I would say food probably is the #1 thing.
Daryl Johnson is the Sioux Falls director of the Kids Against Hunger program. Through fundraising, he is able to supply the rice and soy protein needed to make the packets. Johnson says that it doesn't take a lot of effort to gather a group to package.
People are doing this for their birthdays in lieu of presents at Christmas. They're doing it in celebration of an anniversary event. And there's just lots of ways you can do it and help. Get about 10 to 15 people together, enough to service one line. And it's multiples of that. And if we have 30 people, we'll run 2 lines. And if we have 45, we'll run 3 lines. And of course, the more people we have, the more food we're going to package.
The event was organized by USF senior Tina Spade, who came up with the idea in an unconventional way.
I was actually on my way to church, and a song came on the radio that reminded me of World Hunger, and I emailed Dennis Toom, and after that, kind of just got the ball rolling, and yeah.
Spade says she could not have anticipated such a large turnout.
I am very surprised with the number that showed up, but really pleased, really excited that all the support from campus, just different clubs, different sports. The volleyball team's here, the Lions Club. Yeah, it's exciting. It's a great turnout.
Each packet made can feed up to 6 people at a cost of 23 cents per packet. For USF College Week, I'm Aaron Heinert. Michael W. Smith is coming to town, and for a few USF chorale members, this presents an opportunity like no other. The singer has asked for extra backup singers, and a small group of students have answered the call. Once there, the students will sing 12 pieces with the artist as part of a local mass community choir of 100 voices. The concert is Thursday, November 5th at 7:30 at the Sioux Falls Arena.
The Special Olympics State Bowling Tournament is coming up in November. Before this can happen, however, many hours of preparation are needed. With more on the story, here is Cameron Keys.
Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. This is the Special Olympics Creed, and Sports Director Sam Engelbretson tells us what exactly Special Olympics are.
We provide basically athletic opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities, and that includes softball, bowling, basketball, and spring games. We also do unified, which is when you partner up one-on-one with an athlete and work with them. So half the team would be someone with a disability and half the team would be a unified partner.
Athletes from around the state gathered in Mitchell to compete in the Special Olympics area bowling tournament.
We have an area tournament because bowling is such a large sport. Bowling is the largest event aside from spring games because it's a lifelong sport. So we have people ranging from 8, which is the first age you can start participating with Special Olympics, up until like their 70s participating with us, which is why it's largest.
Engelbretson also tells us the perks of volunteering for the Special Olympics, along with what types of volunteers are needed.
Coaches, or just anyone who will hang out and help chaperone at state. And anyone who helps chaperone at state gets free stay at the hotel and meals with us.
While Engelbretson talks directly about volunteers for the state tournament, she says volunteers for regular activities are also needed. For College Week, I'm Cameron Keith.
If you are interested in volunteering for Special Olympics, please contact Sam Engelbretson at sfso@live.com or Brandon Sandoval through campus email. Coming up after the break, see what group is fundraising for an interim adventure. We'll be right back. Students on campus are raising money for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to the country of Ecuador. College Week's Lexi Vogelar has the story.
Every year, USF students get the opportunity to study abroad over interim. This year, a group will be heading to Ecuador. Diane Vandenover tells students what they can expect.
JTerm in Ecuador is a study abroad language immersion experience. The students who go to Ecuador live with host families. They attend language school about 4 hours a day, and the rest of our time from about noon on is for activities, for exploring the city, getting to know the people of Ecuador. And so we have a wonderful time, and students learn a lot about Spanish language while they're there.
To help cut costs for those going on the trip, coffee mugs are being sold to raise money.
We needed a project that was useful. Nobody likes to sell anything that isn't a good value. So this is a great value. I know I personally saved hundreds of dollars last year. You save about $1 every time you buy a cup of coffee. So it's useful to the people who buy it. These were donated to us, and Java City graciously cooperates with us so that people who buy this mug for $5 get 74-cent brewed coffee refills all year long. And also having the support of this particular corporation, Core Trust, supporting our effort. That all kind of guided us toward this particular project. For students to go for JTerm in Ecuador, 3 weeks, homestay, language school, the cost is running at $3,300, which includes airfare, school, homestay, 2 meals a day.
For College Week, I'm Lexi Vogelar.
The curtains have closed on USF's first theater production of the year. For more on the story, here's Adam Verink.
Dream opened on the USF stage and was said to be a great success. Director Kim Bartling discusses where she found the inspiration in choosing the first show of the year.
Why did we start the year with Shakespeare? I have 2 words for you. Haley Ward. Haley came back from Oxford and was just Shakespeare crazy, and as a senior she certainly wanted to do Shakespeare as part of her senior year on stage, and it just makes sense. For a college, we should be doing classic theater. And so we picked A Midsummer Night's Dream probably because it's the most common of Shakespeare's comedies. It's also one that I've been teaching an intro since I came to USF 12 years ago, and so a lot of our students have already been introduced to it, and to put it on stage and let them actually see it done has been a wonderful process.
Haley Ward explains her contribution for getting A Midsummer Night's Dream on the USF stage.
I was quite advocate about having Shakespeare as part of this year's season because I think Shakespeare is really important in the theater because it gives such a base for all of English drama. And also, it's really important because Shakespeare had quite the insight into the human heart and into love, as you can see in Midsummer Night's Dream. And I think we're really lucky to be able to perform Shakespeare here and to have such a great response from the campus that we did.
Bartling tells us what it required to put on the production and the little details that made the play a success.
Well, it is a cast of 31. 19 of them debuted in this show on a USF stage. So if you're going to do Shakespeare, do it with 19 people who have never done theater, really. But it was so much fun as far as the process was concerned. In fact, I've told the cast numerous times, I don't remember last time I had this much fun doing a play, because Shakespeare, like the 1960s, as we keep talking about, defied all the rules. And so we could just go, yeah, let's do that. That kind of breaks the rules. And so we took my idea was to set Midsummer in the 1960s, where we had lots of different subcultures. So we had the marriage of Theseus and Hippolyta was Kennedy's Camelot. And we had the Four Athenians, which was the British invasion. And then we had the comedic plot, which was our mechanicals doing the play within the play. And that was our white or blue collar workers. So we had a milkman and paper delivery guy, and a police officer, and as you know, a car hop, and also a mechanic. And then we have, of course, our tribute to the 40th anniversary of Woodstock with our Fairy King and Queen, Titanian, Oberon, and their chorus. So yeah, so we had hippies to the Kennedys to Edie Sedgwick and Andy Warhol and the Beatles all on stage.
Bartling and Ward share with us their excitement of the upcoming plays.
In less than a month, we open Broadway and Beyond, which is going to be kind of just a hodgepodge or a motley crew, if you will, of whatever our students want to do. But they have to be from Broadway shows. So we'll have song, dance, kind of like a variety show, but it's all going to feature Broadway music.
As it is my senior year, I'm really excited to be part of this year's theater season because I think that the campus is really going to start partaking in the theater because we're doing, starting with Shakespeare and then moving into a Broadway review sort of atmosphere, which really, there truly is something for everyone in that show. And then Warren, which I think is a really important play based on domestic violence and domestic issues. And I think it will ring true in a lot of the hearts of USF employees and students. And then ending with Cinderella, what a better way to end. It's a fun show, and it's just heartwarming. Everyone loves it.
For College Week, I'm Adam Verink.
During fall validation, USF students were encouraged to sign up for a new messaging service available from campus security. For more on the story, here's College Week's Ronnie Hawkins.
We can send out messages for any type of campus emergency or weather-related closures or anything like that.
This fall, the University of Sioux Falls unveiled a new program that would allow people to receive official messages from the university on their cell phones.
Well, I signed up initially because Kristen Fick told me that I might win an iPod, so that was the incentive. However, I did think that it was really cool.
USF junior Lindsay Reinhardt has signed up for the program. And even though she may have signed up to win something, she tells USF College Week that she still thinks the program has great merits.
Yeah, I think it will be really beneficial, specifically for the people who live off campus, like myself. That way I don't have to come to class to find out if it's canceled, and I would have driven all the way, possibly in, a blizzard or...
Even though a majority of people signed up for the texting service are students, USF Director of Campus Safety Kevin Grebin says it's open to anyone involved with the school.
Well, this is open to anybody that has any type of association with the university itself. We encourage parents of students, if they want to sign up for it, they're more than likely to, hopefully, we sign up for it. Anybody that has any at all ties to the university, we would encourage them to be part of this service.
Along with the texting service, Grebin encourages people to keep a lookout for other campus safety improvements coming this year.
We're looking to install a couple more of the call poles, and that may be sometime next spring. We'll be adding 4 additional cameras to help cover the exterior of the campus.
For USF College Week, I'm Ronnie Hawkins.
Coming up next, Lexi Voglar visits with the newest member of the Peace Corps, Kyle Staggers, on Crosstalk. We'll be right back.
Welcome to this week's edition of USF's Crosstalk. I'm Lexi Voglar, and today we have Kyle Staggers with us, former USF student and also Peace Corps trainee. So good morning, Kyle.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
All right, now I hear you have some pretty exciting plans coming up for the future. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be leaving for the Peace Corps here in about 5 days, and so I'm going to be moving to Africa for 27 months exactly, just basically 2 years, to do some volunteer work.
All right, now where in Africa are you planning on staying?
I'm going to Gambia, or the Gambia to be more exact, and it's on the west coast, northern side. It's kind of just south of Morocco.
Okay, and now when you're there, who do you stay with? Do they provide housing for you?
For the first 3 months, I stay with a host family, and the first 3 months is training, and so there's a lot of very intense language training, cultural, and some technical training. So the first 3 months I'll be staying with a host family, and then after that I will actually move into a little more remote village and just kind of have my own area within the complex.
Okay. Now you said you're training. What exactly does that involve? What are you training for?
The major focus of the training, the 3-month training period, is language and cultural training. So basically, to bring yourself up to an intermediate level so that you can ask questions, get answers, give commands, and that sort of thing. But also cultural training so that you integrate into the community so that it's not really like as shocking when you get there. So you get to pretty much ease in, because 3 months of training is done with a number of other Peace Corps volunteers, somewhere from 10 to 15, I would guess.
Okay, now are those other Peace Corps volunteers from this area too, or are they complete strangers?
They're just going to be pretty much people from all over the country. I don't really know how many people are from the Midwest. I haven't gotten any sort of list yet, but I would guess that I'd probably be the only one from South Dakota.
Okay, now how did you begin applying for this? I know it's a pretty long process.
Yep, it's a year-long application process basically, and it starts out with just a basic paper application that says, what's your name, where do you live, why are you interested? You write a little essay on why you'd be interested in Peace Corps and what you were planning on doing, and another essay on your foreign experience. And so you write those out and send them in. Eventually you do an interview. My interview was in October of last year, and then after the interview you receive a nomination, and it's basically just a waiting process until you get asked, extended a formal invitation to serve.
Okay, well then why did you want to do this? You said you had to write an essay, so what did you say?
I guess the abridged version would be something along the lines of, I just really enjoyed traveling a lot and I like helping people, and so this seemed like kind of the next big step. I spent 3 months in Vietnam this summer and doing volunteer work also in orphanages, and I just kind of wanted to do an extended program, and Peace Corps sounded like just the right kind of plan. Somebody kind of brought it to my attention and I've kind of been obsessed with it since.
Okay, now do you have a specific job while you're over there?
I'm going to be an agriculture and forestry extension volunteer, which means I'm going to be working with communities. I actually get kind of this circle that I work within, and so it's a 15-kilometer, I think that's about 8 miles of a radius, and I work within numerous villages within this circle, and it basically consists of community gardens, tree nurseries, and sort of environmental education dealing with the upkeep and maintenance of those.
Okay, now you said it's volunteer, so this is all free, right?
Vaguely. You kind of volunteer to go, but Peace Corps does pay you the average living wage of the area that you're in. So you are getting a very small payment, but it's basically considered volunteer work because the countries that Peace Corps works in are almost all developing countries, and they just don't make a lot of money on average, and so you're basically kind of skimming by. I think I will be making something like $25 to $30 a month.
Wow, wow. Okay, so tell us more about Gambia. What is that country like? Is it impoverished in any way, or?
It's a very small developing country. It's basically situated directly around a river. So there's a river that kind of goes into Africa, and then there's this little tiny strip of land that goes all the way around it. And that's Gambia. It's sub-Saharan, so it isn't desert, but it's still pretty hot. I think temperatures are generally around 90 degrees, but it should be very exciting despite all the sweat.
All right, now do you have any fears or apprehension about leaving, or are you pretty excited?
I'm pretty excited. It's going to be kind of sad to leave all my friends, but it will still be a really good experience, and they're all really excited for me.
All right, so what's the biggest thing that you hope to take home from this?
Just the experience of living in another culture and living with other people and kind of seeing how they live. I think it broadens perspective, which is a pretty important thing in everyone's life.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you for joining us today, and good luck. Safe travels to you. Stay tuned. Up next, we have sports with Shelly Jacobs. Good job. Thank you for joining us.
And now it's time for sports with College Week sports reporter Michelle Jacobs.
So Michelle, Cougars' last game at home.
Yep, hopefully they'll continue their win streak. This past weekend, the University of Sioux Falls Cougars took on the Tigers of Dakota Wesleyan University. Senior Ryan Lohmiller scored the first of his 5 touchdowns only 2 minutes and 9 seconds into the game, as his 7-yard burst gave the USF the early advantage. Following a short punt, Lorenzo Brown threw the first of his 2 touchdown passes as he found tight end Scott LeBrun, making the score 14-0. Brown would later find junior receiver John Ryan, giving the Cougars a 28-0 lead in the first quarter. After a 67-yard touchdown run by Brown, Lohmiller took over, scoring on back-to-back runs to help give the Cougars a 56-0 halftime lead. In the third quarter, the Cougars added to their lead with a 32-yard field goal by freshman Braden Winking. DW would get on the board late in the fourth quarter, making the final score 59-7. Next up for the Cougars is a trip to Orange City, Iowa, to face number 12 Northwestern College. Kickoff is set for this afternoon at 1 p.m. In other sports news, the University of Sioux Falls women's soccer team secured their spot in the playoffs after they defeated Northwestern University on Tuesday. As they move up to tie for 5th place in the conference, they are secured for the playoffs. The difference in the match was an unassisted goal by forward Ashley Dementon in the 33rd minute. The defense limited the Red Raiders to only 6 shots on the night, with sophomore goalkeeper Kelsey Van Pearson recording 4 saves. The Cougars won the match with a final score of 1-0. USF will play their last regular season match this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. on their home field at the USF Sanford Complex against GPAC number 8 Concordia University. And that's sports for the day.
So USF's playing their big rivals, Northwestern.
Yep,
what do you think
both
that's
teams.
going to be?
I think it's going to be really good for both teams.
Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Following the trend with larger schools, USF has its very own interactive game of basketball. With more, here's College Week's Ian Bloomer.
For the first time in USF's history, Cougar fans were able to get a sneak peek at this year's basketball team during the first annual Cougar Countdown. This event is a countdown to the men's and women's basketball season. It involved a dunk contest, a three-point contest with a men's, a women's, and a student division. Many other activities were available to watch as well as participate in, such as knockout, musical chairs with a Nintendo Wii on the line, a balloon popping contest, and even a competition to see which student could pick the most winners out of the three-point competitions. After all the fun and games, it was time for what everybody was waiting for, the dunk competition. It came down to Ronell Grant and Kelly Hubbard in the finals, and they both put on an amazing show. And the dunk to clinch it for Grant. All competitors put on an impressive show, but the champions for the first annual Cougar Countdown are, for dunk contest, Ronell Grant, women's three-point champion, Becky Christofferson, men's and overall three-point champion, Jake Siddig, student three-point champion is Arsenio Richardson, the people's three-point champion is Sid Kortmeyer, the knockout champion is Brett Bilkey, the musical chairs champion is Betsy Hildreth, and the USF bracketology winner is Brett Wall. For College Week, I'm Ian Bloomer.
And that wraps up another edition of USF College Week. I'm Stephanie Chmielewski.
And I'm Erin Heinert. Have a great day.
Great interview today.